morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with episode 33 of the Snowflake's Viewpoint. How's everyone doing today? I hope you all had a nice weekend. Hope you're all doing well. Oh my god, that is 6 hours of my life I will not get back once again, guys. I've already suffered 12 hours of listening to Boris Johnson at the COVID inquiry, and today I actually decided, instead of watching it from Open Democracy's YouTube channel, I decided to watch it from Labour Social and Graham Hughes, with Graham Hughes covering it, and it was a bit different, obviously, watching it from that YouTube channel. So yeah, we're going to talk a bit about Rishi Sunak a bit later on. I also have a bit of ranting to talk about on my channel with regards to certain people coming onto my channel. not exactly coming onto my channel, but certain comments about certain topics on my channel. I'm not going to address that straight away. I'm going to address that a bit midway point, and I'll address what we're going to be doing with regards to Thursday, because I have an alternative for the Snowflake Corner as well. So just going to say, who have we got in the chat? Greetings from New York. Greetings, Colin Thompson. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a nice weekend, buddy. 91 Leeds is here as well. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I hope you had a good weekend. Simon says 55 is also here. How you doing, Simon? Hope you had a good weekend as well. Right, so I think you think that I would have everything ready for you guys, but you know, guys, I kind of like thought that I've got quite a lot of articles to talk about, and I thought, why don't we just start this off with a bit of humour today, guys? Let's have a little bit of humour, shall we? It makes sense to hear from this, given what we've had to put up with today and last week, of course. A minister talking about the COVID inquiry.
Minister, we're learning from this COVID inquiry that the government's response to the pandemic was an absolute disaster, one of the highest death rates in Europe.
No, I don't accept that. No, not according to the stats we have.
Right, which stats are those?
The stats for a completely different time period.
I see, yes.
Look, we had to weigh up difficult decisions. Yes, people died, but also, on the other hand, we got Brexit done. And I think that's what the public wanted on balance.
Your former leader doesn't seem to remember an awful lot of that time period.
That's largely why we elected him.
And neither does his phone. You don't seem to have understood or learnt anything from the inquiry.
No. On the contrary, we've learned that for the next pandemic, we shouldn't let Boris Johnson anywhere near the steering wheel. And we've already put that into action by getting rid of him and putting someone in who had nothing to do with decision-making during that pandemic, Rishi Sunak.
Yes, you've banished Boris Johnson to the Rwanda of the Conservative Party.
The Daily Mail, yes, exactly. There's no greater deterrent.
But he's eyeing a possible comeback,
well, yes,
I've noticed.
Just like the Rwanda policy, this is impossible to enforce.
Minister, thank you.
Thank you.
Minister...
Please go away, Boris, please. No, guys, he might not be going away at all. Jeannie Bottle is here as well. Good to see you, Jeannie. I hope you're doing well. Right, let's crack on. Just quickly, just to show you, Alex's orb is still here. Lava lamp is still here. And why is the orb not turning on? Oh no, this is not good. Oh, there we go. It's on. The orb is on. The orb is on. Oh, hell, the orb. And the plushie is not very happy today. The plushie, Ollie, is not happy because I sat for 6 hours watching the COVID inquiry. Ollie's not happy about that. So, yeah, Ollie expects better of me, guys. So that's why Ollie is mad. Right. Good evening, Joe. Good to see you. FY, good to see you there. Ben Shaw as well. Good to see you guys there in the chat. Just by the way, just out of curiosity, in case any of you are wondering, if you happen to be, I'm also on Twitch TV as well. I will check the comments after this article to see if anybody's there as well. I should have put the link in the description for it. Yeah, we'll look into that in a second, guys. So if anyone on Twitch is there, hi! So you find me. I'm mainly on YouTube, but obviously I'll just see how it goes on Twitch as well. Right, so this one, first and foremost, guys. Sunak is on the rack as Tory factions feud over Rwanda bill mess. I know there's an updated article. I think there has been an update, and we'll come to that after this one, guys. So don't worry. So right-wing Rebel MPs urge the PM to pull Rwanda bill as it doesn't go far enough with the party deeply split on deportation policy ahead of the crunch common vote. So obviously tomorrow, guys, is the big. I don't know why we have to talk about this, but we have to because everyone wants to talk about it. The bill tomorrow, whether it's. It really is pretty much. It kind of like everything's all riding on this bill. I don't know if it's gonna be like that. If it's a do or die sort of thing for Rishi Sunak. I just think like this has been blown well out of proportion in order to distract the public from everything else that's going on in the country. I mean, that's how it comes across to me. Lefty Boater is here as well. Good to see you, Lefty Boater. But we're going to keep. It's not the first time we're going to be talking about this, and it certainly won't be the last, guys. So Rishi Sunak is fighting to save his flagship Rwanda bill. After right-wing Conservatives delivered a scathing rejection telling the Prime Minister his legislation doesn't go far enough. The embattled Tory leader is scrambling to either gather support ahead of Tuesday's crunch vote on the deportation plan, as rebel MPs in the warring rings of the party plot to hold his position back, or plot behind his back, shall I say. Mr Sunak was forced to reject the Dr. Death label as backed by former boss Boris Johnson handling the pandemic, as he wrestled with an untimely grilling at the COVID inquiry in West London. Back at Westminster, the hardline Brexiteers who brought down Theresa May were back, causing trouble for Mr Sunak, as Mark Francis and his allies in the European Research Group raised the stakes by demanding that Number 10 pull the bill now. Desperate ministers and wits have been trying to persuade backbenchers to vote for the bill, but the right appears to harden their position after the EIG's Star Chamber said it did not go far enough to get flights off to Rwanda. One senior Tory MP had told The Independent it's a complete mess for Rwanda, was a stupid Boris Johnson gimmick which has come back to bite us. Tuesday's showdown vote in Parliament comes across as Sunak defends his E Out to Help Out scheme. Boris Johnson said it was unfair to call the Treasury pro-death squad. We're going to have an article on that. We'll talk about that in an article. The PM was handed a boost as the One Nation group of Tory moderators recommended voting for the bill. There's the article we're going to read on that. The Tory leaders is holding a Tuesday breakfast meeting with 20 right-wingers in a bid to win their backing. Sunak has warned that he could still lose the crucial Rwanda bill vote by accident if enough MPs abstain. And the Home Office civil servants admitted that there was no evidence the Rwanda plan had a deterrent effort on the small boat crossings. It doesn't. There's no... I've said this in so many times in so many videos, and I know the majority of you here in the chat agree with me. Like, we know that even if like this happens and they send the 20 or whatever people to Rwanda, it's not going to stop people crossing the boats. And there's actually been one of Zoe Gardner, I think it was Zoe Gardner, tweeted about this. Like, there's actually been there's or one or two other people have basically footage. There's video footage of immigrants who are migrants who are coming to the UK and have been told about the Rwanda thing, and it's like, I'm still going to come. Like, it's not going to change anything. So if you're hearing from migrants, immigrants coming to this country saying that they're still going to come to UK, then it's not acting as a deterrent anyway then. If you're hearing them saying that they still plan to come to UK regardless of whether they have flights going to Rwanda or not. So already this is a pointless exercise, this whole thing. It's just no point. It's just... Mr Sunak issued a strong defence of his Eat Out to Help Out scheme at the inquiry, insisting that scientists did not get an opportunity to raise their concerns. The former Chancellor also said it was unfair to call the Treasury pro-death squad, as Mr Johnson had described in his old department. The PM has also said he had consistently warned Mr Johnson about his lockdown and the economic scarring, but he also defended his predecessor's handling of the COVID crisis, saying that there was an illiterate decision-making process that was not necessarily a bad thing. Tory leaders' calm performance came amid turmoil at Westminster, as hardliners in the ERG delivered a much more scathing verdict on the Rwanda bill than planned. Mr Francis said there was consensus among hardline right-wingers after a meeting with allies from the New Conservatives and the Common Sense Group that Mr Sunak should pull the bill immediately. The senior rebels, among those pushing for the government to opt of the European Convention on Human Rights to stop individual appeals, said that Number 10 should come up with a revised vision that works better than this one that has so many holes in it. While many right-wingers have been expected to vote with the government on Tuesday and hold the fire until January, Dave Jones, the ERG's deputy chair, warned that the bill was not easily amendable at the committee stage. It's going to get shot down in the House of Lords anyway. While Number 10 is still confident of surviving its first hurdle vote on Tuesday, Mr Sunak could still lose the crucial common votes by accident if enough rebels abstain. According to some nervous Tories, Mr Sunak only needs a rebel of 28 Conservatives to see his majority destroyed, as Labour and other parties will vote against it. But if 56 Tory MPs abstain, it would also see the government's majority vanish. One senior right-winger told The Independent it could happen by accident because of abstentions. People will make up their own minds. Another MP, loyal to Mr Sunak, had said the maths could get tricky if people think they could abstain with no consequences. I think they only need about, I think the numbers were about 20 to 30, I think it's like something like 20 to 30 MPs. Roughly I think it's 30 that needs to rebel. So it's a very small number. And there's more than enough of them to rebel against this bill. Right-wing MP Simon Clarke, a key figure in the Conservative Growth Group of Liz Truss allies, suggested that he could vote against the bill at some stage. There is no point, frankly, in our regaliating this issue unless it does work. Veteran Brexiteer Sir Michael Fabricant, an ERG member, said he would be voting for the bill on Tuesday. One sign it is likely to go through at the first hurdle. Amendments can then be made later in the usual way. One senior Tory right-winger said some would abstain and some would vote against. Most of the unhappy hardliners would reluctantly choose back it on Tuesday. I'm not sure how sensible to vote it down now. The former minister warned Mr Sunak that he must not be deaf to rebel amendments or face a crushing defeat on the bill at the third reading early stage in 2024, one that could threaten his premiership. Another right-winger said he would back the bill because they were worried about plunging the party into crisis. It would be madness to vote it down. It's really bad for the PM's authority, they told The Independent. These blue-on-blue attacks aren't doing us any good. Yeah, you guys really aren't together in this. Mr Sunak will meet with some of the Tory rebels over breakfast on Tuesday morning. A group of around 20 MPs in the new Conservative group, led by Danny Kruger and Miriam Capes, had been invited. Senior Tory MPs Sir Charles Walker, former chair of the 1922 committee, said Mr Sunak should get ready to call an immediate election if the Tories self-destruct over Rwanda and his bill was defeated at any stage. I want an election just as much as you guys, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it will. The government took the highly unusual step of sharing a summary of its legal advice on Monday in the bid to persuade wavering Tories that it is watertight. The lawyers said that if the Rwanda bill often only an exponentially narrow route for migrants to challenge deportation, but they also insisted that there is some room for individual appeals to stay within international law. Cabinet Minister Graham Sharps also pointed to separate Home Office models, with suggesting 99.5% of individual legal challenges will fail. But critics dismissed the assessment based on the model from March as outdated, and a senior Tory source says even this odd optimistic model said it could take more than 2 months to remove a migrant. It would be laughable if it wasn't so serious. The damning news from Sir Matthew Rothcote, the Home Secretary's permanent secretary, who admitted to a select committee of MPs that we don't have evidence the Rwanda flights would have a deterrent effect on small boat crossings. So you don't even have the evidence that makes a difference there. So what is the point? What is the point, guys? It really doesn't work. Some Tories are in despair of how Mr Sunak has forced himself into a corner over the Rwanda plan. There is no good outcome that will impress voters, he said one MP. They will say you had the majority and 5 years, and why the hell you didn't fix this? It would be crazy to kill a bill when there is nothing better coming along, the senior backbenchers added. But we can't say to the public we chucked the kitchen sink at it when Suella Braverman and Robert Jenwick said we didn't do everything. These guys are all over the place, guys. It's just absolute pandemonium is what it is, guys. It really is. It's an absolute... This whole thing is an absolute joke. Just checking. Okay. No chat from Twitch. But it's just an absolute joke. And we got more to talk about on it as well. Another article in just a moment. I'm just going to scroll up and just see if I've missed anything there. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. Rwanda, the great joke of chameleons all over Europe. They're racking in the money, Jal. Good evening, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a nice weekend. The plan, not the country. Yeah. Either way the vote goes, he has a good chance of suffering a rebellion, says Duke Vengeance. Good evening, Duke. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend, buddy. It sounds like a WWE match going on. Yeah, I had to bring up a wrestling reference, Duke. I had to do that. Well, I am wearing a wrestling shirt after all. A week is a long time in politics for those at current inquiry hearings. Yeah, today felt like an entire week. Yeah, today was. So instead of hiring more officials to process immigrants and, for example, allocate a defunctioned army base to lodge people while they wait, let's ship them out to Rwanda. Excellent economics. Exactly, Joe, exactly. The British politicians used to be pragmatic, he also says. Jeannie Bottle says, simple options with little expenses is not the Tory way. It needs a well thought out plan over years to get enough money off a scalper off and to buy a yacht. Oh, don't talk about the yacht, please. I don't want to go down that Michelle Money. I've seen that Michelle Money video. And Simon says 55 says 145 million a year for 200 refugees, 725,000 per refugee. Don't. Colin Thompson says, I can't believe the cost per person for the Rwanda scheme. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Hi, Max. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well there. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend, buddy. Hope you had a good weekend. Political pandemonium is normal, says Junior Bottle. Alistair Keir is here as well. Good to see you, Keir. Casper is here as well. Good to see you guys as well. Good to see you guys. Yeah, so this is the other one that broke as well. Pretty similar to what it was here. This one broke quite just. I had that one originally, and then this one. So the One Nation group, yeah, we just saw on there, of Tory MPs say they will back the Rwanda bill. So the Prime Minister has faced calls from the Tory right to scrap the safety of the Rwanda bill before it faces the Commons vote on Tuesday because it's not fit for purpose. But moderate Tories have said that it will back it in its current form and urge Mr Sunak not to change it. So, he's kind of damned if he does, damned if he does, really. It just feels like whatever he's going to do at this point, it's a lose-lose situation. I don't think we'll read all into it, but we'll read a little bit into it because we do have a lot of other stuff to talk about today, guys. But we'll see how time goes. The One Nation group of centrist Tory MPs have recommended its members vote for the government's Rwanda bill tomorrow. It comes up to MPs on the right party earlier today suggested that they may not support the legislation. A faction of about 100 One Nation MPs met this evening to discuss their concerns about the legislation goes too far disapplying the Human Rights Act. The caucus said it remains concerned about any future amendments that would mean the government breaching the rules of law and its international obligations would oppose such amendments in the House of Commons. But for now, it's indicated it won't stage a major rebellion when the law goes to a vote in Parliament tomorrow. Damien, Green MP, chair of the One Nation group, said, "We have taken the decision that the most important thing at this stage is to support the bill despite our real concerns." Regan, do you think the headbangers will have enough rebels? Is it rough? I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Max, but I think is it 20 or 30 MPs that they need just to rebel? They need to rebel the bill, if I'm right. I think they will have enough, if I'm honest. I think they will have enough to reject it. But as I said, in the after, they are going to try and woo some of them tomorrow morning at breakfast. At the moment, I think they have enough, but I think there's going to be conversations tonight and conversations in the morning. There's going to be a lot of people, a lot of chatting going on, trying to persuade them. But but isn't it? It's just going to get shot down in the House of Lords anyway. That's the thing. I just feel like it's going to get shot down either way. If I'm honest. So I mean, we could get a football club for money involved. What are you guys talking about? Voting is for a measure that might endanger the TCA, just as an example, says Jow. Yeah. That's what I generally think. I'm pretty sure it's 20-30 Conservative MPs if I'm right, but I just don't think they're going to have the numbers. I mean, there's such a contrast to the numbers they had in 2019 to what they have now. It's quite crazy, really. We strongly urge the government to stand firm against any attempt to amend the bill in a way that would make it unacceptable for those who believe that support for the rule of law is a basic conservative principle. There we go. It takes 29 MPs to vote against or 59 MPs to abstain for Mr Sunak's flagship legislation to be rejected with no clarity on whether he could survive with such a defeat in practice. So he only needs 27 MPs. Yeah, I think they can stop that. They only need 27. I definitely think they can stop that. While the statement from the One Nation group will be a relief, it does not mean that the fight to get the bill passed is over. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think this bill is going to breach international law. I think it's going to go as far as it possibly can, but This whole thing is just an absolute joke. It really is. We've wasted so much taxpayer money on it as it is, guys. Earlier today, the ERG said the legislation had so many holes in it that the consensus from the right wing of the party was to pull the bill but put forward a revised version that worked better. There have been some, there there have been a few tweets I've seen online where some of the hardliners are looking at different. I haven't specifically said what specific policies, but they are looking at alternatives already to try and clamp down on migration and try to stop the boats. But there weren't specifics from those who had sources with the Conservative MPs online. Here we go. So there's a politics report here. Is there enough Rebel MP to bring down the Rwanda bill? Just 29 Tory MPs need to vote against the bill, or 57 needed to abstain to kill it off. We know there are around 100 MPs represented by the so-called 5 families of right-wing Tory factions who have been the most vocal of stopping the boats. Clearly, if all these MPs vote against or abstain on Tuesday, the bill would be toast. But although they will often group together, it does not guarantee each faction will team up and come around the same conclusion. At least 2 of the groups that did not attend the ERG's meeting this morning, despite being invited to discuss the legal conclusions they had come to. Also, even when a faction decided which way to vote, not all of its signatures are guaranteed to follow suit. One member of the ERG has already publicly said it will vote for the bill despite its flaws. But remember, these are not the only group of Tory backbenchers, and Mr Sunak will need to keep in mind that more liberal One Nation collectives too. There is also around 100 MPs tonight that have recommended members back the bill. Some, of course, may choose not to. Even if they do, it does not mean that the fight is over, as they've said they won't support any changes to toughen up. They have said they won't support any changes to toughen up the bill, something those on the right are calling for. Around 200 MPs are still debating their positions with just 24 hours to go. It's understandable why Mr Sunak might be nervous. Just scroll up just to see I haven't missed anything else. Jal says, regularly, the existence of such a bill would change the UK's stance on international law, hence it would affect how the UK is tagged in international level, hence it would endanger all laws and ... Stop the boats, I want to get off this crazy island, says Stu. Oh, I know, buddy, I know. Everyone's saying hello to each other as usual. Jal says, agreements based on the base fact that the UK follows international law, facilitation compliance. So-called continental law is similar level law of the book contrast and not previous cases. Does not go far as overriding the European It does not go as far as overriding the Convention of Human Rights, the ECHR, with those on the right had called for. So it's not going to override the European Courts of Human Rights, apparently. It's also very important to make the distinction as well that the reason, we have to remind ourselves of this, is that the reason that the court shot it down as well was not because that the UK can't deport people to Rwanda. That wasn't the reason that the courts shot it down. The reason why the court shot it down was because the country was not safe. Now, if they had an agreement of some sort with, like, Canada, for example, because I've heard Canada being used as a prime example, it would be a different story because Canada is a safe country. Whereas Rwanda has a very poor human rights record. As we guys have been told and been informed about this, they don't have a very good human rights record. And just because the government are going to override our own laws saying that it's a safe country does not make it a safe country. So it's very important to make that distinction as well. Mr. Sunak hopes to quell unrest when he holds. Yeah, we've already said that already. Yeah, not a good time for him. Right, we'll move away from that from now. It's going to be an interesting. I'm sure it's going to be a very fascinating live stream tomorrow night on Max's live stream. That is for sure, guys, because it will be fascinating to say the least. But we will definitely be keeping an eye on it tomorrow. That's for sure, guys. Okay, this one here. But we will come to the COVID inquiry. But I wanted to come to this one first because it does tie in. This really grinds my gears, if I'm honest, guys. So this one's from the iNews, guys. So the government U-turns on a pledge to support modern slavery victims for 12 months. Shelving the commitment which promised shelter, counselling and substance is likely to divide Tory MPs. I mean, they're already divided enough, but why are we abandoning victims here? Why? Why are we doing this? What's the reason? So ministers have come under fire after they withdrew their pledge to provide 12 months of support for victims of modern slavery. In September last year, the government had promised it would provide support for victims after a formal modern slavery identification process for a guaranteed 12 months. This would compel the Home Office to provide counselling, accommodation and substance to victims of modern slavery. It would apply to all confirmed victims of modern slavery, including victims of human trafficking, forced labour and child slavery. In September 2022, the Home Office Junior Minister Amanda Soloway assured the House of Commons that the government had made clear its commitment, adding that all those in need of specific support will receive appropriate tailored support for a minimum of 12 months. However, on the 1st of December, the commitment was shelved in a Home Office newsletter seen by the Eye, which reads, "We have carefully reviewed the commitment and concluded that the existing need-based approach already ensures that necessary assistance to victims." Let me just read that again. So apparently it says, "We have carefully reviewed the commitment that concludes that the existence of need-based approach already ensures that necessary assistance to victims." Why are they changing it? So they're not guaranteeing it, basically. Is that what they're saying? The move is likely to divide Tory MPs, many of whom have previously supported the introduction of the year-long period of support. The Home Office can still offer support on a case-by-case basis under the needs-based approach, otherwise known as the Recovery Needs Assessment, the RNA, but are under no legal obligation to provide support for modern slavery victims for any minimum length of time. Oh, okay. So rather than being locked down to it, when they say that they aren't getting the assistance that they are supposed to be getting, they'll say, well, we don't have it enshrined in law, so it's basically what they're trying to say, guys. Hi, Mark Wilkie. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you had a good weekend as well. We are leaving people behind again. It's just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, guys. According to the latest statistics, the Home Office only provides all support requested by modern slavery survivors of 19% of cases, while the promised policy would put an obligation on the government to make support available to victims for at least 12 months. So, just to give you guys a bit of context before we go, what is modern slavery, just to help us clear up any distinctions on that. So, according to the human rights organisation Anti-Slavery, the most common form of modern slavery are human trafficking, the use of violence, threat or coercion to transport, recruit or harbour people in order to exploit them for purposes such as forced prostitution, labour, criminality, marriage or organ removal. Forced labour, any work or service people are forced to do against their will, usually under the threat of punishment. Debt bondage or bondage labour, the world's most widespread form of slavery. People trapped in poverty borrow money and are forced to work to pay off the debt, losing control over both their employment conditions and the debt. Descent-based slavery, where people are born into slavery. It's a very old form of slavery where people are treated as property as their slave status has been passed down from the material line. Child slavery, when a child is exploited for someone else's gain. This can include child trafficking, child soldiers, child marriage and child domestic slavery. Unfortunately, that is something that still happens in this world, which is one of the most horrible ones, to say the least. Forced and early marriage, when someone is married against their will and cannot leave. Most child marriages can be considered slavery. We do know some countries are still doing that, unfortunately, as well. Domestic servitude. Domestic work and domestic servitude are not always slavery, but when properly regulated can be an important source of income for many people. However, when someone is working in another person's home, they may be particularly vulnerable to abuses, exploitation and slavery. So there's just for the cases of distinction of what modern slavery is, just for our benefit. Experts have warned that the government's U-turn will leave victims of modern slavery without advice or accommodation. After exploitation director Maya Estoman told the Eye, many have suffered physical pain and psychological abuse, which can leave lifelong scars. The idea that any survivor of this crime does not deserve 12 months of support flies in the face of both logic and compassion. We talk about sometimes, guys, how really heartless the Conservative Party really are. And I'm glad that there are some Conservative, because it says in the article here, and I hope this is true. Now, I hope there are some Conservative MPs who are going to speak out about this. So I hope we hear one or two questions on PMQs as well, saying what's happening with this. I really do, because these are victims here, and they have rights. You know, they need to be looked after here, and I just read anyone being in that situation and coming out of that and not getting any support whatsoever. I mean, yeah, they're still gonna. They say they're gonna provide support, but it's not guaranteed. That's the thing, and this is going to come down to once again, where we're going to be relying on charities to pick up the pieces again, where the government are going to basically throw it onto charities, because once charities do it, the government will say, oh, we don't need to do it again, because that's what they do. They'll put their hands away and they'll expect people to hand out their own pockets, expect them to do it, expect them to look after these people themselves, as opposed to them taking ownership and responsibilities of what they're supposed to be doing in the first place. Liberal Democrats Home Affairs spokesperson Alistair Chalmers, MP, told the Eye that this U-turn is yet another disgraceful case of the Conservatives turning their back on some of the most vulnerable people in our society. Survivors of modern slavery deserve comprehensive support every step of the way. This key is not for getting them back on their feet, but also for decreasing the risk of being re-trafficked. Exactly. Things cannot continue for how they are any longer. We need a plan from the Home Office now. One that will bring dangerous criminal traffickers to justice, provide more support to survivors, and stop this wretched exploitation in the first place. The government has also criticised by the charity sector for making a second U-turn. This is the second U-turn, they're saying, after scrapping the plans of the safety scheme that allows possible victims of modern slavery to access to advice, shelter, and medical treatment in the days after leaving exploitation. So this is the second time, guys. This is the second time they've turned around on this. According to the Home Office newsletter, the government said, we have reviewed its viability and funding. It's unavailable to introduce and effectively implement this new service, and therefore we are not moving forward with a Places of Safety support module with the current MSVCC victim care contact. The scheme, first promised in 2017, recognised the need for survivors to be granted shelter and a caseworker after being rescued from modern slavery by a law enforcement officer. One victim of modern slavery who, after reporting her plight, was detained in a police cell while officers awaited an update on her immigration status. He told the Eye that a lack of support worsened her serious mental health conditions, leaving her feeling trapped. The effects of slavery don't just disappear after 30 days. The current level of guaranteed support, it stays with you of your life, they said. If they don't understand that, of course it's going to affect them for the rest of their lives. They're scarred for life being in such a horrible situation. Once survivors come forward, they must be able to get help quickly, that they need to be open for them for life. Guys, how many times have we talked about mental health on here, guys? Well, you know, guys know how I feel about mental health, and this plays a role in this just as much as other things that are going on in society. Esmond said, to help survivors make sense of what's happened to them and the steps ahead in the days after reporting severe exploitation, the Places of Safety scheme is vital. In the years since this scheme was promised, thousands of victims have slipped through the cracks without a referral, potentially due to the lack of support and an offer in the days after leaving exploration. The Home Office told the Eye it was not proceeding with the 12-month commitment because of confirmed victims, and can already get 12 months of need-based support following a CG, a Conservative grounds decision. Regarding the Places of Safety scheme, it said, we don't have the funding for it within the current support contract. Yeah, of course you don't. Of course you don't, guys. It's it's a horrible situation. My heart really does go out for them, you guys. Hold on a second, I'm just checking. Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let me just scroll up a bit just to see if I haven't missed anything. Agreements based on international law. Yeah, I think I've read all that. Yep, I did read that already. Everyone's saying hello to each other. talking about trying to drink. Countdown to Power. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. I find it very hard to believe that they are Tories with hearts. If they are, they hide it because it's not popular with the in the party. Yeah. I know. Hope you do. I hope you had a better week. I hope you had a good weekend. In all seriousness. Ben Shaw, the way a government treats refugees is very intrusive. It shows how they could treat the rest of us, and they thought they could. Tony Bean. Jow is encouraging everyone to hit the like button and share across social media. I get what you mean. There's this stuff. So, Alice Keir saying, "All hail the orb." If you want Ollie the octopus to turn the frown upside down, hit the like button. Yeah, he will turn his frown upside down if more people hit the like button. Jow says, I heard someone say here that is the way the Brits treat their one. How would one treat me? The person is often being offered a job in the UK by a fellow Portuguese. Yeah. You try to put. Yeah, I always try to put myself in someone else's shoes. It's sort of like one of the hardest things to do. We're gonna take a little break here, and then I'm just gonna talk to you guys briefly about what's happening this week because I've got some plans. But this is obviously coming right before we talk about the COVID inquiry, guys. So I thought it was fitting because they did tweet this, Larry and Paul, earlier.
Welcome to Broken News. An inquiry held by the UK government, which has been investigating extensive corruption at the heart of UK government, has found the UK government is not corrupt. The UK government hopes the report, which was initiated by the UK government after fierce criticism of the UK government by everyone apart from the UK government, will restore faith in the UK government. Our reporter has more.
For years, there have been accusations of major and widespread corruption in UK government. And the UK government has been climbing the perceived corruption index faster than don't forget to write a good joke here. But there's relief after this new report from the UK government found that the UK government is definitely not corrupt. The report authors, the UK government, found that using elected power to siphon public money to rich friends, lobbying for powerful companies while holding a highly paid consultation job there, and trying to change the rules so mates don't get banged up for fingering interns are, in the words of this report, absolutely fine actually, mate. The report goes on to claim that, if anything, the UK government could go even further. It says, to be honest chaps, all the plebs are so distracted by brown people in small boats and going mental about who's allowed in whose toilets that they're not even looking at the fact that you're stealing all their money while cutting back on their services. So why not fill your boots while there's still time? Back to you.
What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
Bloody damn it. They had to tweet that, Larry and Paul. God damn it. Oh, God damn it. Oh, guys, I've said it 1,000 times. Make sure you subscribe to Larry and Paul. That funny video is in the description. Please watch it. If you haven't already watched it, please go out your way to watch it and hit the like button and share their videos, guys. Absolutely great stuff. So, just before we go to the COVID inquiry, I want to get some crap off my chest, shall we say. Let me just make sure I've got the camera set up for you. Why is my camera not set up for... Oh, sorry guys, why is my camera not set up for it? That's a bit weird. Okay, that's set up now. Don't know why it wasn't set up before. Okay, so couple of things. So I said on the post this morning, guys, if you didn't already see my post, just quickly want to sort of caveat of the channel. So there will obviously I'm spending just a few days away with my parents, and then I'll be from Wednesday to Friday. I'm going to pre-record some content. Obviously, Wednesday and Thursday for you guys. There'll be no Regan's News Round on Friday. It will then be either done on Saturday or Sunday. I'll let you guys know on Thursday what day that will drop. So instead of the live stream on Thursday, guys, I will be bringing back the World's News Round. I don't know how many of you guys remember that, but I used to do once a week an hours long video of world news. So I'm going to be basically doing that and that's going to drop at 9 o'clock on Thursday, so that you guys can come together and you can still mingle and chat and whatnot and talk about whatever news I'm covering on there. The only difference is it's not going to be live. It's just going to drop as a premiere like the Regan's News Round does. So there will be a video dropping. I just won't be live streaming it basically because I essentially won't be here. I'm going to record that tomorrow for you guys. So that guys, so it'll be ready for you. So you guys have got something on Thursday night if you've got nothing else planned, and you guys still want to come and mingle in the chat together as well as watch what's happening, listen to what's going on in the world and all that stuff. So you guys will have that on Thursday. So as I've said already, I'm not going to be on the Snowflake show this Wednesday. I have no idea if at this moment in time if Lee Corn's going to get someone in to cover or not. But we will have we are going to plan a Christmas show at some point as well. And now I need to do the ranting. So I'm really mad about something. So I've had some bastards coming into commenting on certain videos. So lately I've had a lot of videos that have been going viral lately, which is absolutely fantastic. The subscriber count went insanely up again over the weekend, which I'm very grateful for. But I've had some people basically being really self-righteous, saying some really cold-hearted things, being very selfish, and but it's not to you guys, it's to those who may actually be watching the video, watching this video at a later point. And I'm basically going to say this: if you're going to come into my channel and make some derogatory and disgusting comments, I'm just going to remove your comment, pretty much. If you have constructive criticism of what I do, that's perfectly all right. But if you're going to come on my channel with hate, I'm just going to remove your comment, guys. I'm not going to get into a debate with you. I'm not going to waste my time with you, and I don't want you anywhere near my channel. Go somewhere else. We can have agrees to disagree over things, but leave the hate somewhere else, because I'm not that kind of person, and I don't want to. I'm not going to waste my time with you guys. I go out of my way to read all my comments in my channel. I don't always respond to every single one of them, but I do try to respond to every single one whenever I can, guys. But if you're going to come to my channel and make inappropriate or hateful comments about certain things, just going to remove your comment. This is on just putting that on there, guys. And just for other caveat as well, I had one of the videos that's been going viral lately, guys, if you may have known, was about a pregnant woman who had a miscarriage in an asylum centre, and a lot of people were arguing, well, she shouldn't have come to the UK if she was pregnant. Well, first of all, we don't know if that was the case. Second of all, what matters is that she was in a situation where she was not getting the help she would need. Never mind the fact whether she was a migrant or not, that's a human being, that's a woman with her children who needed help and wasn't given help. And you are thinking selfishly about yourselves rather than thinking about the well-being of that person. Yeah? As I say to people, try and put yourself in other people's shoes. If that was you, if that was your wife in that situation, you'd be crying out for help too. And I think people and all they were thinking about, and comments were coming in that video as it was going viral, was, what about Britain? What about the British people and that? And I was like, well, I do cover videos about what's happening in Britain. I did a video about the homelessness. So there are plenty of different videos that I cover, different stories that I cover on my channel. And I understand that we have problems in this country as well, and I'm going to do everything I can to cover as much as I possibly can too. But please, please, please use your humanity here. Like, attacking this poor woman in her situation, I think is just incredibly disgusting and inhumane of you. And well done to those in the comments in that video who basically who thought it was pretty horrific, what she's going through. Because no one should have to go through that situation, and I just think if you're going to go in there and just going to outright attack her for her situation, rather than thinking, okay, why did this happen? How did this happen? What should have been done to prevent this? Is the questions you should be asking, not finger pointing and blaming her for the miscarriage, in any way, shape, or form. So. Rant over. just going to quick look in the chat before we look at the COVID inquiry. I did do a video earlier today if you guys want to check that out as well. Distractor plebs bake a cake, dance off in the jungle as for single hot people or a cat being cute, says Genie Ball. I don't know what you're saying there, Genie Ball. I'm not going to... Wish I had the chance, said Jow. There's always a chance to recommend people. Rules are tightening here. Are you inviting me to Portugal, Jow? Is that what you're saying there with Ben Shaw? Wait, was it me? Did I have something to drink? No, Duke, it wasn't you. You're perfectly fine. Well, we rant a lot, so we have free time to tell me to shut up. No, you're fine, Jow. All good, buddy. I hope I have been only good. Jeannie, you're fine. It's not the vast majority, pretty much all of you guys here. You guys are solid. That there's people who've never been on the channel before who make straight off the bat comments and just assume stuff. Simon says 55. I may have said derogatory comments about Tories too. No, it's not your. I haven't seen you say anything inappropriate in any of my videos, Simon. So you're fine, buddy. Jow says, my dad told me that put yourself in the other person's position before opening your mouth to speak. Exactly. Colin Thompson says, did you get any notices from YouTube telling you about inappropriate comments? Agree with you. Yeah, I did. I did get comments held for review. So, obviously, I have been told by certain one or two people not to take it to heart, but you know, it's my channel, and I can say whatever I want, you know, about it. You know, I try to be a good person, guys. But I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But you know, I say to people, try and put yourself in other people's shoes before jumping to conclusions about stories. Is what I will say. I got to talk about this. All right, so I talked about the WhatsApp messages. Obviously, guys, I've done a video on that. So if you want to know about my thoughts about the WhatsApp messages, you guys can check that out. This article, obviously from the BBC, the Eat Out to Help Out scheme. What was the impact of the scheme? So about an hour before we came on, guys, I was actually watching a video from Phil from A Different Bias, who had some very nice points he made about the COVID inquiry as well, because I was watching it as well. He made some valid points of what of how Rishi Sunak approached it, and he made one slip up, and it was here during the Eat Out to Help Out scheme. And let's hope it comes up on here, because he throughout pretty much all of it, he was quite clean. You know, he had a tactic, and it pretty much come to basically saying, I don't recall or I don't remember, sort of thing, in order to basically keep himself squeaky clean throughout of all this, because he's got enough on his plate as it is, and he's just going to act like I don't remember, or I don't know, I'll have to check, or did you ask the Prime Minister? Oh wait, we already asked the Prime Minister last week, so we don't need to ask him. But we're not asking him, we're asking you. Never a straightforward yes or no answer from him. Do I think the COVID inquiry got any information out of Rishi Sunak today? If I'm absolutely honest, no. I felt like he just rambled so much. And watching it on Labour Social with Graham Hughes, there was like I was just agreeing with Graham. Was just like, can you shut up and just get on with, you know, just. Oh! That's how it felt. So be glad, guys, that you did not sit there for 6 hours like me and Graham did, because oh my days, it was not worth it. So Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has defended his 2020 Eat Out to Help Out scheme and his handling of the pandemic at the COVID inquiry. Government scientists said they were not concerned about the scheme and that it was highly likely to have increased COVID infections and deaths. But Mr Sunak insisted the government scientific advisors had the opportunity to raise concerns. Representative Begree family claims masses of people almost certainly died because of the then Chancellor's callous and reckless attitude. Mr Sunak played down the link between his scheme and the spread of the virus in the UK, as he did at that time, saying the second wave was predicted by scientists and happened in every other country in Europe. BBC Verify examines how much the scheme contributed to the growth of the virus. Diners received a steak 50% discount on meals and soft drinks in pubs and restaurants up to £10 each. The scheme was aimed to protect jobs in the hospitality sector by encouraging people to dine out. One of several support measures of the sector had already been hard hit during the pandemic, including pubs, restaurants, cinemas, hotels and nightclubs. Other measures including VAT cuts and we don't need to read that. The scheme cost £840 million and covered 160 million meals during the month. At that time, lockdown restrictions were easing and some people had money to spend after months with little socialising. According to the data from the booking website OpenTable, restaurant reservations in Monday to Wednesday, the day of the scheme, was put up by more than half in August 2020 compared with the previous August. I'm going too far. But some of the extra booking on those days were people choosing different nights to go out rather than deciding to go out more. The Office of National Statistics found that a high proportion of restaurants spent on referral debit cards happened from Monday to Wednesday of that month. The scheme was a significant boost of the sector when it needed it most, said Kate Nichols, Chief Executive of the industry body Hospitality. Well, of course they're going to say that, but they obviously don't talk about the deaths. But furlough and business rates were a relief for the most significant, she added, offering help to the whole sector rather than just pubs and restaurants. The overall economic activity in accommodation and food services was still slightly down the previous August. An analysis of the footfall and job adverts in area where more restaurants under the scheme suggested that any benefits were small and translucently. I can't say that word. Sorry, guys. The study authors from the London School of Economics suggested that the programme failed to encourage people to go out for other purposes and eat out after the discount ended. Yeah, people stopped as soon as it ended. How much did the eat out to help spread the virus? The scheme ran during August 2020. There were often delays between infections and showing up in the official COVID figures. If you caught coronavirus at the end of August, for example, it might not have appeared in the figures for a week or so. Case numbers from testing in the UK rose from about 6,400 in the first week of August to about 23,000 in the second week of September. Roughly a 250% rise, but as the chart shows below, some of Europe's neighbours saw faster rises in that period. Okay, so this is coronavirus cases over the summer of 2020. New cases by week in the UK and other large European countries between the 1st of July and the 27th of September. So this is for the source from the World Health Organization here, guys. So you can see from July, it goes from July to October, and obviously the case numbers there. So according to this, I mean, it doesn't look like our position kind of changed. It was already going. It looks like it was steadily going up at pretty much from September anyway. But it does look like here. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to really look too much at the other countries because every country did things differently there. But it was already there. You can see late mid. I don't know how much you can see the purple line lines, but you can actually see mid to late August there was a slight increase, and then just before it hit September it started going up in trajectory, and it's just going up and up and up pretty much towards October there pretty much. I would say it probably took a while before and the thing is this is only, I would say this is only cases that have been tested. Because how many, was everyone getting a test? Was everyone making sure that they were testing themselves? How many people were actually testing as well? And I think that's an important distinction to make as well. I think that's a very important factor to make in there. Now we'll come back to the chat, don't worry. Although countries like Spain and France did not have specific eating out schemes, they did allow holidaymakers to travel there in the summer and suffer a new spike in cases. In England, as well as the eat out to help out, the country was generally opened up after a very stringent lockdown. On the 4th of July, most hospitality businesses could reopen and people were allowed to meet in groups of 30, although it's recommended to avoid a group of more than 6. The rise in infections started to pick up at speed in early September as children went back to school and some of their parents returned to the office. As we already know, the same month, the Alpha variant, which took over in December, already started spreading. A study from the University of Warwick tried to tease out the effort of this scheme. Reported a link of how much the eat out to help out was used in the spread of the virus. The authors estimate that the scheme might have increased the number of cases seen in August up by 20%. Based on the speed of the virus and the spread at that time, a 20% increase would be bringing the autumn wave forward by about 3 days. So this is coronavirus cases from July 20th. This is from the World Health Organization. New cases in the UK between the end week in July the 7th and the week ending the 27th of December. So you can see there, obviously, shows the trajectory, obviously, still going from October. And then, obviously, there was the dip, and then went back up again there. I'm pretty sure that point there was when we had the second lockdown. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I'm pretty sure that was there. Scheme may have contributed to the spread of the virus in many places, as many meals out. Incomplete revised the government messaging that mix was high risk. So Patrick Vallance, the government's chief scientific advisor, told the inquiry. But even the total increase in COVID from August to mid-September is tiny compared to the rise that's peaked in early January 2021. You know, because this is from this articles from the BBC, I just got a feeling that they're trying to diverge me from what Rishi Sunak and what others actually said at the inquiry, and they're kind of just talking about COVID as opposed to talking about what Rishi Sunak and the scientists actually said. Am I the only one who's getting that feeling as I'm talking about this article? Take deaths involving COVID often took a month for the fatal cases of coronavirus to run its course. Infections run from August. Come on, let's. I want to talk about what. They're not even. This article. I should have reread this article really. Mr. Sunak had little way of knowing when he commissioned the scheme. Government scientists repeatedly told the inquiry they were not asked what model of the scheme, but only learnt about the places. However, Mr. Sunak told the inquiry this. I'm not having this. I want to hear what Sunak had to say. I wanted to share what Sunak had to say. Let's have a look. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm not going to use, Rishi Sunak had falsely defended his record as Chancellor during the COVID crisis, saying he did not consult scientists about the Eat Out to Help Out scheme that describes the descriptions of the Treasury being pro-death were deeply unfair. Yeah, the BBC, were not. BBC lied, misled in that article because they were talking about it, but they weren't talking about the actual inquiry, which is, that I apologise, guys, because I should not have covered that article. During 5 hours of the often cautious evidence of the inquiry, during which he repeatedly said he could not remember meetings, comments, or other details, Sunak dismissed the idea of overdose scientific objections to his flagship hospitality scheme. The inquiry previously heard that Sir Chris Whitty, England's chief medical officer, called the plan to subsidise people to visit restaurants and cafes in summer 2020, eat out to help out the virus. While Sir Patrick Vallance, the chief scientific advisor during the crisis, said it was highly likely to have caused additional deaths. Sunak dismissed these objections, saying the scheme had protected millions of jobs held by particularly vulnerable people, while also confirming he had not explicitly sought expert advice about its potential impact on health. He said there was no need to clear the plan with Whitty, Vallance or Matt Hancock, the health secretary at the time. It was only a minor part of the wider programme for reopening following the first lockdown. What do you mean there was no need to clear the plan with Whitty, Vallance or Matt Hancock? Why would you not tell them? What did they? Oh, okay. Just let that sink in, guys. I'm going to read that again. I want you guys to read this very carefully, okay? He says there was no need to clear the plan with Whitty, Vallance or Matt Hancock, the health secretary at the time, as it was only a minor part of the wider programme of reopening. Scientific advisors of SAGE, the scientific advisors who are trying to protect lives, we're not involved in the conversations. Am I the only one who's lost my mind here? This was a micro policy to make sure that capacity with the scientifics had already said it was part of an overall package that could be safely delivered, was actually used, he argued, and was very much done in the context. Pressed by Hugo Keith, the then led counsel to the inquiry, about why he had only spoken to Boris Johnson's Downing Street about the Eat Out to Help Out until the day it was publicly announced, Sunak changed tack somewhat and said it was because it was a market-sensitive fiscal decision. As would be completely normal for all economic policy before physical events, that long-standing practice there has always been. I wouldn't have discussed the VAT cut on the hospitality sector with the Secretary of State for Health or the stamp duty cut. These are all either market-sensitive or economic issues. Asked if he was aware that some Number 10 officials have referred to his Treasury as the pro-death squad because of his perceived focus on economic reopening about the health consequences. Sunak said, I was not, and I do not think it's a fair characterization of the incredibly hard-working people that I was lucky to be supported at the Treasury. So, excuse me. So he's not saying denying it, and he's not... Guys, you know, when you're listening to 6 hours of Rishi Sunak, some things tend to slip out of your ear a little bit. Money, says FY. Yes, it's all about the money. In testimony punctured by apparent lapse in memory, Sunak said he was unable to recall details of the memory that imposed on the first lockdown. Memory loss. In the first lockdown in March 2020, or whether he and other ministers had opposed extending free school meals to poorly children during the holidays, a decision reversed after the campaign by footballer Marcus Rashford. Get in there, my son. He also denied hearing anyone dismissing parents whose children needed free meals as freeloaders. A comment Valance recorded in his diary as being made by someone in governance during that debate. He was asked about that. He didn't deny it. He didn't deny it. He didn't deny that. Sunak, the final witness of the inquiry's current module, which covers decision-making at the top of government during the crisis, also said he had no recollection of government scientists warning that earlier reopening plans were pushing up the COVID infection rate. I'm not going to read any more of it, but yeah, it probably won't be the last time I'll talk about Rishi Sunak at the COVID inquiry. I might do another one, a video on it maybe, but dear guys, well, I mean, I've kind of, I know it's probably not going to be the last time we're going to hear from Rishi Sunak, but he's got bigger things on his plate. But he really did not contribute much at all, like Boris Johnson. You know, we wanted answers. People need to know what happened. And like I said when I talked about Boris Johnson, guys, like people lost loved ones, and people want to know what happened, why it happened. And the whole point of the COVID inquiry is about learning from it, guys. And I still feel that we have not learned. We're not going to learn from it. I just feel like they didn't care. They lied under. I feel like they both the Prime Minister and the former Prime Minister lied under oath, and they're gonna. I just feel like they're gonna walk away from it, and it's horrible. There was an article from the Standard as well, just before I come to you guys in the chat. There was an article from the Evening Standard that's saying that those who delete their WhatsApp messages could face criminal charges. And I did just added the Good Law Project on that article and tagged in Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak. So maybe there's something there for them to look at. But we'll see. Right, let me scroll up and see what you guys are saying in the chat, because it has been a while. I can only say medical staff here was horrified when commenting on this on national TV in Portugal when we imposed mandatory vaccinations and COVID tests on flights coming in from the UK, says Joe. Lefty Bio says, how could they have ever thinned the Eat Out to Help Out was anything less than idiotic and beyond me. Yeah. Eat Out to Help Out, COVID spread quicker. Yeah, it was. He was just talking the clock down. So frustrating. Yeah, he was pretty much. That's exactly what he was doing. In most of Europe, the governments divided the cost of maintaining jobs with their businesses and gave specific aid to restorations and other affected businesses as jail. Eat Out to Die, Sunak's fault, says Alistair Keir. Yeah. Money, says Ben Shaw. Yep, it was money. Ginny Bottle says, I do not eat out normally and could not afford to eat out even with the money off offer. It seemed a middle class desperate plea to spend at Tory's wife cafe, and she needed second holiday pocket money. Ginny Bottle, I seldom eat out, and I agree with you. Countdown to Power says, it annoys me more that he had so much disrespect for us and thinks we're so stupid that we wouldn't believe that he doesn't remember or wouldn't realise he was filibustering us. Yeah, 100%, money, 100%. I will remind everyone that the UK at this stage did not have many mandatory testing as in most of the EU. It did not, Joe. No, it did not. Though at times too risky, stop going to the pubs and restaurants, says Vincent. Good to see you, Vincent. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. That's the other thing as well. Jal made that very good point. Like, we were advised to get tested, but weren't mandatorily required to get tested. That's a very good point. The main issue here is a policy of opening up business caused a lot of people to be asymptomatic with deficit testing. It spreads over the next weeks like wildfire, killing them all. Who would have thought the BBC would report anything resembling the truth, says Vincent. Yeah, I think... excuse me, I'm going to have to read BBC articles before covering them going forward. My brother and my mum were among completely asymptomatic and had fevers so high I had horrible pain. If I was not vaccinated, I would have probably died. Yeah. Too many innocent people died. These people that profited out of the misery of the fellow humans make me sick. Yeah, it does make me sick too, buddy. Liar, liar, pants on fire, says Alistair Keir. Yeah. This is why he uses his pants on high, feeling to heat. Yeah. He did feel a bit, he did feel quite small in that chair, if I'm honest. This is why, check out the Good Lord Project's Tory VIP lane inflated by £925 million. Yeah. Good Lord Project do great work. It's absolutely blatantly obvious that they lied. If we let this go, we are letting our self-respect as a nation go with them. There needs to be proper charges. There does, Countdown, but the problem is they hold the cards. And the thing is the question is Labour going to chase after them if they come into power at the next general election? I think it's a question we need to ask ourselves. Jeannie Bolt says fraud officers should look at all the funding from Brexit ferry firms, PPEs and politician finance along with family and close friends, he said. Right, I've got I have two more ones. I'm not gonna read the full of them because we're already over time as it is. If you guys can hit the like button, greatly appreciate, share it across social media, hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified when I upload another video. The orb is alive and well. It's moving now, and the orb it feels empowered. Let's turn him upside down. I think he'll be a lot happier now. Yeah, he's a lot happier because the orb is has been empowered. Ollie is. And yes, in case you're wondering, there is a Christmas tree next to me. But if you guys want me to at the end, I'll light it up for you if you really want me to. So this one, guys, I'm not going to talk too much into it because it's actually a really annoying thing to have happened. Prince Harry's been ordered to pay the Daily Mail on Sunday nearly £50,000 after losing attempts to strike out parts of the paper's defiance in libel case. The Duke of Sussex, who is suing Associated Papers over an article written about his fight with the Home Office concerned in his security arrangements, have tried to have the company's honest opinions defence thrown out. Yeah, Prince Harry's had been ordered to pay the Daily Mail on Sunday on more than £48,000. The Duke of Sussex is suing the newspaper publishers Associated Papers over an article written about his fight with the Home Office concerns about his security arrangements. They argued the article expressed an honest opinion and did not cause serious harm to Harry's reputation. The Duke had tried to have the honest opinion defence thrown out, but in a judgment on Friday, a High Court judge decided it could be included and the case should go to trial. The judge, Mr. Justine Dickerton, ruled that the publisher had a real prospect of arguing its case. As a result, the Duke of Sussex has been ordered to pay the newspaper costs of £48,447 by the 29th of December. The original article, which was published in 2022, wrote about Harry's dispute with the Home Office decision to remove his automatic police protection after he stepped down from the working royal family. The newspaper headline had stated how Prince Harry tried to keep his legal fight with the government over bodyguards a secret. Then, just minutes after the story broke, his PR machine tried to put a positive spin on the dispute. The Duke of Sussex believes this is a liability as it attacks his honesty and integrity. His lawyer argued it is inaccurate and suggested that he had lied and singularly attempted to mislead the public opinion. If a settlement isn't reached by both parties, the libel trial will be held between June, May and July next year. Anything that the Daily Mail are going to front page this saying victory, 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 aren't they? Above all else. Yeah, I just hope overall Prince Harry does win his fight in the end of it all, guys, in all seriousness, because the Daily Mail needs a whooping. They really do, for the cause and damage they've done to people. Now, unfortunately, I have to share with you a very upsetting story here, guys. This one from The Guardian before we finish up. I probably don't need to read all of it, but the headline is going to infuriate you if you have not heard about this already. So, Charities criticise the treatment of a homeless man by a security guard in London. Organisations call for more action to get people off the streets after footage show McDonald's guard soaking the man's bedding. I don't know if the video is going to play, but it is going to play. I'm going to mute it just for the sake. So if you look here, this homeless man, a bystander's film, you can just read it for yourself, really. So you can see there, a homeless man. He's just there, and look, he's mopping around him. You can see he's mopping around with the bucket there, with the mop and bucket. I'm not putting it on because I don't want to hear the. I don't want to hear the language, guys, but it's clearly absolutely despicable. McDonald's later confirmed that both security guards have been permanently removed. Yeah, pretty despicable. Homelessness charities have criticised the appalling and deeply upsetting footage of McDonald's security guards soaking a homeless person's belongings as they call for more action to get people off the street. Aid workers expressed their shock and heartbreak at the incident, evidence of which emerged over the weekend, though some have told The Guardian it was sadly familiar. This is not the first time something similar as this has happened, apparently. It's incredibly sad to hear about this sort of treatment with someone forced to sleep rough, but this is not an isolated incident, and this is somewhat been seen more and more in recent months, said Babi Kaur Chalkuk of the homelessness charity Centrepoint. The footage shows the security guard using a mop and bucket. Yeah, we've watched the footage. The fast food chain McDonald's apologised on Sunday, said that their third-party security guard involved had been permanently removed from our restaurants, and the restaurant team has been reminded of the importance of treating all people with respect. The man was identified by the Daily Telegraph as 25-year-old Aaron McCarthy, a Londoner since the age of 10 months, though originally from Limerick, Ireland, had told the paper his treatment by the guards was disgusting. I had to leave because it was so stressful. I'd hardly slept the entire night because my bedding was all soaked. You can still smell the bleach on my blanket. Matt Dowie, the CEO of Crisis, said it was appalling to see people mistreated like that. A spokesperson for the St. Motto, which does outreach work in the area, said, not only is this an upsetting video to view, this is sadly also not a unique experience for many experiencing rough sleeping. Every individual experiencing homelessness and rough sleeping deserves the utmost respect as much as any in our communities. Many of our clients report to us daily of the kind of dehumanising and awful treatment that they often receive while living on the streets. They call for action from Westminster to solve the rising homelessness crisis and to actively prompt compassion towards those experiencing it. Referring to the recent comments by the former Home Secretary Suella Braverman, where she stated homelessness is not, Samoa added, homelessness is not a lifestyle choice but a political one, and more action should be taken by the government to help those vulnerable in our communities and foster a supportive society towards them. I don't need to read any more on it, guys. You get the gist of the story. I'm just going to say this, guys, before we go to the funny video at the end. Look, I know we're only about 2 weeks away from Christmas, and it's really important to, like, I am going to do everything I can to do. I want to do, in all seriousness, I want to do a really positive live stream for you guys. Something that I really want to do, an uplifting, positive live stream for you guys. Because I really want to put a positive spin for you guys in what is supposed to be a time where people come together and there's joy and happiness to be with one another. It's not, to me, about the presence. It's about being there with family and friends and loved ones. That's why I'm seriously considering doing a live stream on Christmas Day, late in the evening, so that if some of you guys perhaps may not be with family or friends or may not have people to go to on Christmas Day, perhaps maybe I might I'm seriously considering doing a live stream on Christmas Day, so that if you guys don't have any plans and you want to hang out with me and just not even talk about news and politics, but whatever. I'm seriously considering that because I want to be there for you guys, because you guys have been there for me, and I'm going to be here. I'm probably going to be here for New Year's Eve live streaming, or probably be on Discord. No, not live streaming. I'll be doing a voice chat on Discord as well on New Year's Eve as well. But Christmas is a horrible time for some people. It's not a joyful time for some people. It's actually be an absolutely horrible time because a lot of people just can't buy presents. They can't afford presents, let alone being able to pay for the certain basic things. And everything. I really do feel for a lot of for retailers, because this is the most important time of the year for them to make money. They're not going to hit as much. I don't care what the numbers say. I'll be shocked if they better than they do last year, because a lot more people are worse off than they were before. And even in my family, we're not buying as many presents. We've stopped, because most of my families are okay. We're not in a difficult financial situation. I'm not buying presents for every single one of my family. I'm only buying it for very close family, and everybody else is getting cards. It's only the kids are getting presents, because obviously kids, you want to give them something at least. But I feel for these people, because they should be looked after all year round and not be thought about just at the Christmas time. And it's important to remember that while it is a joyous occasion for some of us, it is a desperate time for others. And it's really important that we think about them and try to highlight the issues that they are going through, guys. Do it after 2 p.m. as the 2 Davies show will be on between 12 a.m. and 2 p.m. Christmas Day. I will not be able to do it at that time, Kier. I will not be able to do that time. I'll have family around. It will only be in the evening if I do a Christmas Day stream. It will only be in the evening, if that's the case. But I may have it. I may put it on the background, because I'm going to be. I will be having some. There will be some family coming over on that day, so. But I won't be able to do it after that. It would be nice to do it in tune with the 2 Davies, but I won't be able to do that, unfortunately. But honestly, guys, let me know what you guys think. If you would like me to do a Christmas Day stream, if you guys want to, if you can or not, it's not the end of the world. But I want to do something for those who perhaps maybe don't have many family and friends and just want to come in and hang out. And which is also why, guys, at the start of the live stream, I put the link for the Discord community, because I know not everyone here is part of Discord, but I really want to put this out there, that if you whatever you're, if you are listening and you do have if you are listening and you want to talk to somebody or whatever your situation, I know I've misspelled Discord. Don't need to tell me in the comments. But if you ever want to talk whatsoever to anybody, and if you want to feel like talking to anybody, guys, come on the Discord. Just jump in the voice chat, and if not me, someone will come and I'll try and come on. If not me, somebody else will. We've got people on the community, on the Discord community, and we can talk. And it doesn't even have to be about news and politics. It could be about anything. And you can talk to me about anything, because whatever you're going through, whatever you've experienced, the jobs that I've worked in, and the stories that people have told me. I've heard some horrific stories that people have gone through, and you guys know that some of the news and stuff I cover, does weigh a bit sometimes when I talk about things that are happening in Sudan, for example, what's happening in Gaza, the war in Ukraine, the way that there's consistent killings in America with the right to bear arms. Whatever you guys want to talk about, you can talk with me, and it will be kept completely quiet. I won't say a word because there's nothing that there's nothing you can say that I haven't heard before. But you know, because you guys been there for me when I was down in the shits earlier this year when I really was in a bad place. So if you guys ever want to talk to me, you're always welcome, guys. So I want to be there for you guys at Christmas, just like you guys have been there for me. And so yeah, bit of an interesting. It's not been a very uplifting live stream, if I'm honest, guys, with some of the news. But let's hope next week's Viewpoint will be a lot more uplifting. But like I say, episode 32, guys, we're still rolling on. I want to say before we go to hear what Colin in Portsmouth has got to say, because yes, Colin made a phone call today, so we will hear what he has to say today, guys. I want to say, guys, massive thank you to everyone who's come here came here in the chat, everyone who's contributed, whether you've just passed through, for those who've liked, shared, all that kind of stuff, guys. I really appreciate all the love and support. I am humbled to have had so many subscribers. Cannot believe that I'm like 60 subscribers away from applying for YouTube membership, which would be an absolutely massive thing for me, considering that the channel did not officially start until March. If you guys want to, and again I want to stress this, you are under no financial obligations to do so, but if you want to support me in any way, guys, in any way, shape or form, because at the moment I'm not going to be looking for work until next month, I mean the new year. But if you guys want to financially support me in any way, because I know some people have been moaning about the microphone, you can buy me a coffee, or you can join me on Patreon for just £2 a month. You get additional content if you join me on Patreon, just to put it out there. The links are in the description, so if you guys want to financially support me in any way, trust me when I say this, I humbly appreciate any support in any way, shape or form. But again, if you can't afford it, don't worry. Yeah, if you want to support me in a non-financial way, the best thing to do, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share this across social media, hit the bell notification icon whenever I upload another video or when I go live. All that stuff is really, really helpful to me. 54 subscribers to go. Well, you know, it fluctuates, but you know, videos have been doing really, really, really well. But you guys have really helped and support me along that way. But I would really love it if a lot of those subscribers would jump over to the Snowflake show, because that would really, really be nice for me and Lee Corn, because that's where it all started, guys, with this. So I think that's really, really want to put that out there. So I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat before we go to Colin and Portsmouth, just to guys say, gotta go independent food. I go independent food outlets. Patient, says Ginny Bottle. Eat haggis. You guys talking about food? Okay. When the Tories outside are fruitful, butterful, and delightful. Well, they may all get on a plane to Rwanda, Duke. You never know. Cake bubbly in chat with what could go wrong, says Vincent. Yeah. They will talk non-politics. We'll talk about good stuff. Absolutely will. Sounds like my kind of hearty food. I'll be here on Christmas too. Oh, that's good. Well, again, if you guys aren't part of my Discord community, you know, you can always hop on there. I'll be definitely keeping an eye out. You can't be uplifting that Jacob Free Spog job. If you make a stream, I'll try to come, Joe. Listen, if you can't make it, all good. You know, but if you guys have family and whatever to do on Christmas Day, that's, you know, it's all good, guys. All good. Yeah, it's all good if you can't make it, guys. It's for those who don't have any. For those who don't have family and friends, I want to be there for them. You know, in all seriousness, guys. So, guys, again, thanks so much for watching. Let's hear what. Oh no, I can't use this one, guys. I have to take the camera off. So I'm going to hit the outro button after this, guys. So, thanks so much. Let's hear what British values are chemically castrated, according to Colin from Portsmouth. Let's hear what he has to say, guys. Oh, wait. I did. Let's just start that again. Donut.
Colin is in Portsmouth and he's on the line. Hello, Colin.
I could weep, Anthony, I really could, and my tears are for this country.
What's happened, Colin? What are you mourning?
I imagined something in my own head, and it was terrifying. Did you know there's only 7 white British people left in the whole of London, and if they don't
What?
breed tonight, then we'll be extinct in 9 months' time?
What, 7? That's an odd number. Who's missing out of the breeding, Colin?
Jim bloody Davidson as usual, and this extinction, it'll happen to the whole UK if we're not careful. Our British values are being chemically castrated, and it's people like you that are holding the scalpel.
The chemical scalpel. What are British values, by the way? I've never quite understood what it is that makes us British.
What are British values?
Yeah.
It's obvious. I mean, where do I even start?
Well, start by giving us one British value, Colin.
I'll give you more than one, mate. I'll give you some.
Okay.
Demonising foreigners,
Yeah.
breaking international law,
Right.
changing our own laws to suit nobody except those in power, eroding faith in our own institutions, polluting waterways,
Right.
undermining free press, criminalising protest, stabbing allies in the back, removing striking rights and underfeeding children, and most importantly, nicking other countries' artefacts and refusing to give them back. This is what sets this great nation apart, and I'll fight anyone who threatens it, including you.
Well, wouldn't start with me, mate. I've got a chemical scalpel.
Oh, that's typical of the bloody left. That is always resorting to violence. Anyway, mate, I love talking to you. Thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
Oh, and cricket.
Yeah. Colin.
Cricket. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. And if you guys want to join me in the after chat on the Discord community, you're more than welcome to. I'll be hanging out there for a bit if you guys haven't got anything else to do tonight. So if not, take care, and I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow evening on Max's live stream.